here with me this evening is Madeline Mohr, and she's one of the volunteers with C.H.A.R.M, and so she's going to give us a different perspective. Last week was Adam, and now we've got a guy's perspective, and now Madeline's going to give us a female perspective. So, Madeline, first, welcome to Metro.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so, at least what I've been told and what I've heard is that you've participated in C.H.A.R.M and you've gone out to the prisons. And I was wondering if you would just take a moment and just kind of explain just a little bit about who you are and your background and about C.H.A.R.M.
Well, good evening. We've been hearing the past few weeks Curtis talk about breaking free and about how God can take the things that we struggle with the worst and use them to be the things that he glorifies himself with the very most. 3 years ago, I was attacked in a parking garage as part of a gang initiation, and I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. And I remember just feeling completely broken, just feeling like the wounds would just really never heal, and that God had completely forgotten about me. The police had told me that it was just completely random, that I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but I just remember feeling really lost and knowing that I should run to Jesus, but everything in my flesh told me to do the exact opposite. And just really kind of wondering if there was any hope of reconciliation in the situation.
And so did you ever get an opportunity to actually reconcile with your attacker?
I did. I was very lucky because God allowed the man who attacked me to be caught. And not only did I get reconciliation with the man who attacked me, I got reconciliation with God, which is the most important thing. After I was attacked, I just felt this huge bitterness in my heart for God's goodness, for his plan for me. I just remember really doubting that I could ever love God. I felt just like this total train wreck, like everything I did was wrong and I could never get anything right. And I knew in my mind who God was, but in my heart, I just didn't really love him. I wanted to, but I just didn't. And everything I tried to do to love God more just wasn't working. And I remember that at the sentencing for the man who attacked me, I had an opportunity to speak with him, and I remember this incredible peace came over me, and when I went to speak to him, I said, I want you to know that I don't want you to walk forward with the weight or the burden of any shame or any guilt for what you did to me. I want you to know that I've completely forgiven you, and I want you to know that I've been praying for you to know Jesus, and I'm going to pray every day for the rest of my life that you know Jesus, because I want you to be his. And I've realized in the past few days that words can be very empty, and I really wanted to believe the words that I said, but it wasn't until I actually got out and started living out that great commandment to love others and love them well that I started to really feel in my heart that I forgave, and that when I just began submitting that need for forgiveness, that bitterness in my heart every morning to the Lord, I began to feel actual reconciliation. C.H.A.R.M stands for Christ's hope and reconciliation, and I just feel like there's no one who could need it more than me or any of us. The prisoners that I get the joy and the privilege to work with, they're no different than you and me. Sin is sin across the board. There's no good thing we've done that makes us better than them, and there's no bad thing they've done that makes them worse than us. And when I realized that I could let this thing destroy me or I could allow God to completely restore me and use me. No matter what the sacrifice was, that God could take the person who hurt me the very most, and that person end up the person who helped me the very most. Because if it wasn't for that man, he completely changed my relationship with God for the good. And whenever I get to go into a prison, I see that opportunity to love them well. And I know that the only way I ended up loving God was because other people loved me well. So that's basically what got me going and what keeps me going. And it's a joyful experience. It's so much fun. And I really look forward to the times when I get to go.
That's wow. That's amazing. And the times that you have gone, and now with your experience that you've had going there, what would you say are some of the qualifications that some people out here might be thinking about? Hey, I want to get involved in this, but I don't know if I'm even qualified for it.
I can't think of one person who's more unqualified for a sports prison ministry than me. Sports are not my spiritual gift. When I play softball, my goal is not to hit the ball, it's to not fall down. So there's no qualification that you love Jesus, that you know Jesus, and the rest handles itself. If you're willing to go and put arms around anyone and you like praying, especially over intense prayer requests, then we want you. It's the closest thing to a short-term mission trip you can do. It takes a few hours on a Saturday, and it just doesn't cost anything. You're reaching the furthest person in the county that you can, sometimes out of the county.
And so how would you, and I think you just touched on it just on one of these subjects, but how, just, to kind of wrap it up is how can you go, how can you give, and how can you pray?
Well, by going, you can volunteer with C.H.A.R.M. If you're interested in volunteering, you can go to the C.H.A.R.M Ministries website. It's charmprisonministry.org. They have a calendar on there that has all their events, so you can see where they're going, what time, and you can email Dave Trickett, and he will get you signed up and get you involved. The last chapter of John, Jesus says, "Feed my lambs, take care of my sheep, feed my sheep." He cares about his flock. And I think we're called as Christians to love the unlovely and love the unlovable. And I'm just as unlovable as anyone in prison is. And I think that's why we're called to go. When it comes to giving, I think there's a lot of really great long-term positive effects that can come from giving financially to C.H.A.R.M. You're reuniting families. 82% of men who are imprisoned have created a fatherless household. That accounts for 20% of the fatherless household population in the entire country. Texas has the largest prison population in the country. And when you give to these events, you give to these transitional houses, you're giving the people who are furthest from God a chance to be closest to Him. And then when it comes to prayer, we need prayer. Everyone needs prayer. We need prayer that incarcerated inmates come to know Jesus, that they want to, that they come to a C.H.A.R.M event or any church event, that the wardens and the officials are open to our events and supportive of them. They give us time with the prisoners. They let us pray over them and touch them and be the hands and feet of Jesus. You can pray for just ministry supporters for us. For Dave and Kay, they've quit their jobs and given up everything to work for the kingdom, and they're just two of the greatest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. So I try to pray for them as much as I can.
That's awesome. Well, Madeline, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to come join us and tell us a little bit more about C.H.A.R.M and a little bit about your story. And everybody, if you can just help me thank Madeline for being here.